All right, so here we are again. Welcome to the Crushing Limits Unleashed podcast. We have a couple of guests here. We got a fit couple. We have Logan Herlihy and Candace Schuft. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, what are you guys up to today?
We just were grabbing some stuff from Sam's Club. Candace needed some refreshments on her protein. We
There
grabbed some
you go.
chicken and some other stuff there. Yeah.
In my Diet Coke.
And Diet Coke. Yeah. Staple.
The must.
Assuming it was crazy as usual there.
It was actually
Not
pretty
Actually,
so bad.
mellow.
yeah, the Maple Grove Costco is really busy and the Sam's is pretty slow. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's
definitely
kind of opposite.
Costco.
Everybody is at Costco out here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we
There's usually just one line at Sam's that's actually open, and then you have to do like the self-scan, self-checkout
Oh
on the
yeah,
other ones. But
yeah,
yeah, it's always a cluster.
yeah, like almost every time it's just crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
We usually go to Costco though.
Yeah, we,
Yeah,
we were always Costco people, but we joined Sam's as well when we moved out to Maple Grove just to we like bulk stuff.
it's also closer.
Yeah, way closer.
It's all about convenience.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
helped.
Yeah. What are you
Well,
guys up to?
not much today, really. Just getting a few things ready for work, gym. Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
it.
That's the
Cool.
Did you go to Lowe's today?
yeah.
Yeah, we hit back
Nice,
today. Brooklyn Center went really good.
nice.
Yeah. How
Nice.
about
We've
you
Yeah,
been
we
guys?
meaning
went
to
to
check out
brunch.
the Eden Prairie one, but we haven't been out there yet. You guys, have you been to
Okay.
that one?
That's the one location we haven't been
Mm-mm.
to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's just the old Vault Fitness. So I think it's just kind of like rebranded.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Did they put in new machines and stuff though?
I'm not
They
sure.
must have, right? I can't imagine that they'd leave like old Matrix stuff or something in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
we've
know.
never been to that one.
We'll check and
Yeah.
report back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to Crunch because I belong there and he can come as my guest pass, so he uses the sauna.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish if Lowe's had a sauna, I'd sign up, but
Yep.
It'd be nice.
yeah, I get the space for it, especially in Brooklyn Center. Surprised
Right.
they don't throw something in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, kind of diving in, I want you guys to, because we're obviously getting to know you guys more. Tell us, I want to know for the viewers, how did you guys meet? Give us like kind of a quick rundown. And then for both you guys, I want to know where your fitness journey started, whether it's sports from high school or college, or kind of what got you into the fitness world together.
Yeah.
tell how
You
we met,
want
Candace.
how we met? Sure. It was actually at the gym, a gym, Discover Strength out in Woodbury. So I went to Discover Strength maybe 2014. I want to say I started going there 2014. So I was big into running, and that was introduced to me by the running coach I had, and about training two times, to failure, two times 30 minutes a week. And that's what I did for strength training. And then I just ran. And so I had been all over, but I actually lived on that side of town. So I actually met Logan. I want to say it was, well, let me back up. He says we met in 2018, but I don't really remember it. So we met again in 2020 at the Woodbury Discover Strength. Right around COVID, we had to wear our masks. And so we literally met training with masks on. And so, yeah, we met there. And I guess the rest is kind of history. So
Hmm.
I don't know if my story matches Logan's story,
Yeah,
but
it's pretty
Yeah,
close. No, we met.
what's this 2018 deal?
So I used to work at a different location for the studio, and Candace lived on a different side of town. So she used to have this when I was just starting at Discover Strength, when I first got a job there, they would like introduce us, all the other trainers would like tell us who people were, right? Because there's so many clients and you're supposed to greet every single person by name. So I saw Candace in 2018. She came in, she had this little boy haircut, like a little pixie cut.
Little,
And she was just all
yeah,
bright and
Dixie.
bubbly. I'm like, bleached blonde hair, and I just remember she was working with one of the other trainers there. And I never trained her, but I'd see her, twice a week coming in, and I'd always say hi. She obviously doesn't remember that. Flash forward to 2020, maybe end of 2019, 2020. I think we didn't
Yeah.
start working together till 2020 though, but after we closed down and opened back up, we she switched trainers with me. I think we just our schedules lined up better or something, and yeah, we started working together. And I didn't go right to flirting with her or anything, but found out that she was recently out of a relationship. And I thought that she had messaged me first on Instagram, but one night she got really bored and actually scrolled back 4 years of our Instagram messages for literally,
There
I
was a
think she
lot of
scrolled
messages.
through all of our messages and was like, see, it was you. And I had sent the first message. So, yep, I slid into her DM in
I
2020.
had to like figure it
Yeah.
out and go way back.
Yeah.
So,
Man, that's
um,
really
um,
cool though.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
And
I had
you were
moved.
her trainer first.
I was a trainer. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
He
yeah,
was my coach first.
Oh, there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yep. And I always joke, you
Up
have
to it.
to, if you're gonna date them, you got to marry them, right? You don't want to be a cliche that's just, sleeping with all your clients. So, uh,
I know I'm
uh,
usually like it's the typical personal trainer story.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, but for me with exercise, I started working out. The first time I remember going to the gym was with my dad in Chicago. He used to go to the Naperville YMCA there, and he would drag me along. And I think I was probably like 10 or 11. And that was when you had to be 14 or something to actually go on the strength floor unless you like tested out with a trainer. So they made sure that you weren't going to be like a little asshole running around. So
Mhm.
I tested out at like 10 or 11, and I would just kind of follow him around. And he still kind of does the same routine. He just does some chest and then he does some biceps and calls it a day. I do like, just bicep curls. And I was super skinny growing up. Like, I think my senior year of high school, I was about 140 pounds. And then I just got really into weightlifting my senior year, taking weight gainer and creatine and all that stuff. And I ended up putting on about 50 pounds my senior year of high school. And then ever since then, I've just been hooked. So,
Wow, that's awesome, man.
yeah,
Yeah, very cool.
yeah. What about
yeah.
you, Candace?
Oh gosh, I
How
would
was
say
the transition from running into now you like to compete?
compete, yeah. Well, going back to like how I got into fitness and just I feel like it's just been ingrained in me. I was always in every single YMCA sport, like flag football. I was definitely a tomboy. I had a bowl cut, a running around until like fifth grade. And then honestly, like in high school, I was just basketball, softball. Like I played fifth grade through 12th grade with the same girls. So that was just like your second family. But I was not the diet piece for me. Like I was chubbier, like just like big, kind of bulkier, kind of in high school. And I remember leaving, and it definitely was like that college feel of like, I gotta lose weight, I gotta fit in. So I actually like lost too much weight in college and went through a whole thing where I was just like, I just ran, 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 ran. I tracked everything I ate. And so that's why, like, sometimes this is a much healthier way to do it. Then it was all about, like, I can only eat certain foods, this little bit of fat. It was like unhealthy tracking. And so that in college, I lost way too much weight. And then I got into running. Um, and a little bit healthier, not as much, but honestly, I ran and one of my friends always said like don't outrun your love of running, and I think that's what I did. Like I got injured, I just could never get away from the injuries. And so I don't know how I got like so I started at Discover Strength. I met Logan. I'd always been kind of weight training that way. And I think I had always seen pictures of competitors, but I was like, oh, that I could never do that. Like, there's no way that's me. I didn't grow up thinking I would ever look like that. Like that's just a different level of fit. And then I had met my previous coach, and we were friends I think going into that, I knew him through Logan. And I think I just started as a lifestyle uh, client. And then I was like, maybe I could, maybe I just try it, just kind of do it. And so I was actually running one day and I was like, well, if I'm going to run or if I want to do this competition, I can't run, like they don't go hand in hand, especially running like 60 miles a week, like I was doing, like that just doesn't work. And I'm not really one to like half-ass something. So I was like, I just quit running. Like I literally like in July of 23, I was just like, I haven't ran since until I started doing these hit workouts, once a week with you guys. And I was like, oh yeah, I used to run. Like, and then I was like, I don't know how I did this for miles upon miles.
It was craziest
Um,
thing, that transition, because she used to just be like in the garage for hours every day, just running to know.
yeah, yeah. So I'd like try to outrun a bad diet. So definitely. But yeah, fitness has always been part of my life. It's just gradually, changed over time and what it is and what I focus on.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
sort of have like a small similarity to that. So track and field, I mean, still to this day, it's my number one sport. It's my favorite,
Hmm.
even over bodybuilding. And people are like, "What?" But that's what actually got me into bodybuilding was like sprinting. So I feel we follow sprinting, like we watch all the big meets.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was not running any of the miles that you were, but it was kind of this like tug of war through high school, because freshman year I went to state, I did really well, and then I got a lot of crap from the seniors, a lot of kind of like hate, I guess, if you will, because I had beat all the seniors. So that wasn't cool in their head. And then that's kind of when I started wanting to bodybuild. And my sophomore year, I got faster. And then my junior year, I got slower. And it was at that turning point where I'm like, I'm going to have to give up track at some point. And of course, I didn't run my senior year. But
How
yeah, it
much weight
sounds
did you
great.
gain from your sophomore to junior that you started slowing down?
So I was 113 my freshman year, just like
That's wild.
Yeah, stick.
just like
Yeah,
a stick.
yeah.
And then I got to
I weighed
one.
that in like sixth grade.
It was
Girls
bad.
mature faster, Candace. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh, God.
was I was 135 my sophomore year, and then I was 165 my junior year.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Um,
graduated at like 160 or 162, somewhere around there. And then
dang.
yeah, at that point, like yourself, I chose bodybuilding.
Yeah. I mean, there are some similarities. Like I've thought about this a lot, and Logan will say, "Oh, you thought about it?" Because I like overthink everything. But like with running and bodybuilding, it's never the result that happens the next day. Like every track workout you do, every long run you do, it always pays off when you do whatever race, right? Or like goal event. And that's kind of the way I think about bodybuilding, and I'm so new into it. Like I've done one show, right? But it's the same idea. Like the other day I was like on the stairs, I was like, someone else is doing the stairs harder and faster than me right now. And or like just being like the hit workout, I was like, okay, we used to do this in our workouts, like with the running coach. It was like, try to do I did like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, or whatever, 1 minute on, or 1 minute off, 2 minutes on. But like don't cut yourself short because it only harms you, like even if you're tired, like just finish out the minute, what you can do it for a minute. And so that's just kind of, I feel like it's similar to bodybuilding in that way. Just for me, like I just kind of how I process it. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I think that's why I feel like I like it too, because I like a plan and following. I'm just
You
very
like a
disciplined.
plan?
Yeah. So
Was there any like female or male athletes that you kind of gravitated to like when you started? Because like I like what you said when you referenced, oh, I could never look like that because that's what most people originally like I always refer back to like when you're at Thanksgiving and you're telling so and so and their relative and someone says it, "Oh, I could never do what you do." And I always ask them, why not? Like
Mhm.
why? You cook your food, you work out, like on paper it's like why? You
We're
know?
related, so we have the same genetics. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
I mean,
a good
did you have any
question.
like idols or someone where you're like, okay, that's who I want to look like?
hmm I think going into it, I honestly was like, I'm gonna do a show, and then I didn't even really know what that meant.
Mm.
Like the suit and the first time I put on 5 inch heels and I'm 5'8", 5'9", I was like, whoa, I think where it really hit me was when I went to my first show when we lived in Utah last year. We went to the Wasatch Warrior, um, and that was a really big show. There was big people there, pros, and Meg. She's married to Kuba.
Oh,
I can't remember their last name, or I can't say it.
that's
Is that
Stricker.
the
So that,
British
yeah,
one?
Hmm.
yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like I was like, oh, she was just so amazing, and like I'd seen her content before. So for some reason that really just clicked with me. And then I'm also like, they had to start somewhere. No one came out of their womb as a pro. Like, you know. So then I went back to like some show results of like novice looking people because those are the people you don't see,
Mhm.
and I thought, oh, that's not, it's comparable. I could look like that through so many weeks of prep. So it was almost just seeing people come that were at my same level was really helpful because all over Instagram, all you see are pros, right? Or like they're leaned out, prepped faces and bodies. You're like, holy crap,
They almost look
how am I going to look like that? Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, going to that show was really nice just to see it in person. So,
She did that show,
yeah,
um,
2 years
You were
ago.
at Wasatch?
Yeah.
2021.
Oh. Oh,
uh,
okay. Yeah, we weren't out there yet, but that's
Okay.
yeah,
cool. That's a cool
yeah,
show. It's big.
Yeah.
big,
It
Yeah.
is a cool show.
It was a nice show.
Yeah.
yeah,
It ran really well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
for
Compared to the one that she did in Chicago too, it was like they had their stuff together for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
How about you, Logan? Like what got you, being a trainer and I believe now you're doing mostly online training. Like what
Mhm.
got you to that point where you're like, I want to help people?
So I'd always loved fitness, ever since the YMCA days, and I was just more like vanity for a long time. I actually went to school for journalism, so I thought I was going to be like a sports journalist.
Hmm.
And I quickly realized after college that unless you're a former pro athlete, the odds of you making it to ESPN are pretty slim. So I kind of gave up on that dream, and I was actually just working in bars and restaurants for a long time. And I'm not sure if Candace has shared with you guys, but the reason I actually moved up to Minnesota, so I was just kind of like burnt out, ship with no direction and drinking a lot, abusing my body, still working out though. Like even at my lowest, I was at the gym like 3 or 4 days a week. And I actually decided to get sober and I moved up to Minnesota. So I went up here thinking I was going to be here for a month. And here I am 8 years later still. And when I
you didn't come here for the
first,
winter.
I didn't come here for the winter. No, it's April basically, and we still have snow. Um, yeah, so I was, coming out of treatment and I moved into a sober house and I was trying to figure out like what do I want to do with my life essentially. I knew I couldn't get back into the restaurant business because it's just so, corrosive and not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could be a trainer or something, but I didn't have any certifications or anything. I didn't necessarily want to go back to school for that. So I actually found a gym that on their ad said you didn't have to have a certification. They would just train you in house. I was like, well, might as well. So I applied at this place, which is where I learned about high intensity training. It was a little private studio in Wayzata, in Minnetonka, called it's called Myo Strong now. At the time, it was called My Strength Studio, and it was. Are you guys familiar with Super Slow
Mm.
at
Mm-mm.
all? Have you ever heard of that? Arthur Jones from like
Yes.
Nautilus. Yep.
Yes.
So Arthur Jones had a bunch of disciples, I guess, and one of them was this guy named Ken Hutchins, and he took all the like hit principles and took it to like the way extreme and slowed everything down. And so this was a studio where we did probably 5 or 6 exercises, and the whole routine was 20 minutes, and you were moving in 10 seconds in either direction. So like super smooth cam driven machines where everything is like zero friction, and we basically only trained like people 60 and older, right? Because no bodybuilders wanted to come in there and move super slow, right? They wanted to pound weights around. But that's kind of where I cut my teeth and learned about fitness and kind of the Arthur Jones style of stuff. And as soon as I got into that, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I went back and got some more certifications. And I eventually ended up at Discover Strength, where I got even more certifications. That was kind of my start to like, always love fitness. Now I want to do it as a profession. And I've been doing it for about the last 8 years now. So
That's awesome, man. And
yeah,
congratulations on getting sober.
Yeah,
And
thanks, man.
in your life.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Still
Um,
stuck in Minnesota though.
Yeah.
So are
I
we.
feel like some of the sobriety really, there's a lot of bodybuilders that you
Yeah,
learn
Yeah.
that have, went through something like, at least out in Utah, there were
chasing
quite a few.
chasing demons in the gym. Yeah, no, yeah, especially in Utah, there was a huge recovery community that was jacked.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's that addictive personality piece.
Yeah, a
So
hundred
applying
percent.
it.
There's a lot in running too.
Yeah.
They get
Hmm.
into like ultras and
Ultras.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
so
now, are you all online currently, or
yeah,
what's that?
I will occasionally take clients in person. So I've got like one person that I train right now. I had a couple more, but I passed them off to another trainer. So I train a lady at Jack and Lean, which I know you guys have been to Jack and Lean. But
Yeah.
then the vast majority of my clients, I do another 50 to 60 sessions a week that are all virtual.
Mhm.
And we actually do virtual one-on-one. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
like a Zoom call or something like that. So instead
Yeah.
of just writing somebody an online program, we're literally taking them through their entire workout. So they're just bringing their camera around, or if they're at home,
Mhm.
they set up their laptop or their iPad, and I coach them through every rep. So it's like an in-person training session, but all virtual.
That's really cool, man. Gosh, there's probably not a lot of people I know that go to that extent.
Yeah, everybody says they're virtual training, and it's like, yeah, here's a program, do that. And
Yeah.
obviously, there's levels to that too, right? Like, I know Jack will have people like send him videos, and I think you guys do probably similar stuff, right? Like, if somebody's doing a program, send
Mhm.
send feedback,
Hmm.
and then there's like the super, cookie cutter. Here's a program, tell me how it works, kind of thing. So we're on like the far end of personalization with that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very
And you
cool.
guys do some health coaching.
Yeah, and we just started health coaching in the last year as well, so that's been really cool.
Nice.
Something I had not done before, but being in a studio, it's hard, especially like the place that I was at before. We would only get 30 minutes with people, so it's really hard to go into other conversations. How's your diet going? Oh, make sure you're eating enough protein, but you never really get down to the nitty gritty. So we added like a 9 week coaching program in the last year with my company, Reform Fitness, that we do all the virtual stuff, and that's been awesome to really help people like take it to the next level.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
yeah.
So,
Nobody's prepping. We're not prepping any people for shows or anything, but just trying to lose 10 or 15 pounds. But
But Logan might.
that
maybe.
was my next
I was gonna
question.
bring it up. What is it like in the household? Because you're both fitness enthusiasts, right? But Candace is on the side of competitive bodybuilding. Do you ever get the itch to do it, or you're like, oh, that's your wheelhouse. She's not for doing that.
I,
Well, we
I'm
thought
just
What's
about
the
it last year.
contrast like in
yeah,
the household?
yeah. We thought about. I was working with Jack for a little bit with the intention of doing a show, and I just didn't like. I didn't have the drive of like competing at the time.
Mhm.
Candace is very much like if she wasn't doing shows, she was always doing marathons. She's always like wants can't just do like the I'm doing this because I'm doing this. It's like, no, I have to do this for a result. And for
Yep.
me, I'm very much like, no, I just like doing this. So I think part
I
of it's like,
like doing it.
yeah, no, but I mean like, but there's also the payoff,
I
right?
know.
Like you want
I
to
like to have
do that,
something I'm working towards.
yeah,
Yeah.
that you're working
Mhm.
towards. And I understand, and like part of me is like, oh, that could be attractive. Because if you're just kind of middling around in bodybuilding, it's like I'm gonna get a little fat, I'm gonna get a little shredded, I'm gonna get a little fat again. It's like you're not really, working towards anything. So I've definitely played around with it. I like the idea of doing it just to challenge myself. I don't like eating the same thing every day. So Candace is like, you should work with Chris and Stephanie because they've given me way more, you know,
Ability.
free range to
Yeah.
do stuff outside of the bounds of that. So, but yes, it's at some point that's my plan. Got to talk to you guys more about it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a little bit
It's
more
definitely a challenge
boring.
if you like a challenge. That's the whole reason
Yeah,
I got into it. I was just going through
yeah,
a phase of life of trying challenging things.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I definitely don't want to be on my deathbed and say that I never did one, especially if Candace is going to like continue to do them, which it seems like she's going to continue to do. So I feel like at some point I should definitely, throw my hat in the ring. And Jack always tells me, he's like, you have the Ryan Terry face, like you got the hair, like you guys obviously know Ryan Terry. I was like,
yeah.
you got the
Absolutely.
pretty boy swagger, like you got to do physique. You just got to get into physique. Like, all right, one day we'll do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
that
don't
would
know
be
if I have
cool.
Ryan Terry's
Cool to
size though.
see. We'll give a shout out to Ryan Terry, see if he watches.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean he's definitely someone that we, have a huge amount of respect for. He's like the ultimate when it comes to that men's physique division.
Yeah.
yeah,
So we were definitely pretty excited when he won.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Well, and then go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
oh oh yeah, just I feel like that's kind of like what I've always pictured when the division came out. I'm like,
Yeah,
finally they got it right, like
yeah,
this is what we're looking for.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys are probably much more into the nuance of all that stuff. Like I just remember when I was growing up, like I don't even think. I mean, when physique first came around, it's like they were just like jacked guys. They weren't like huge. And now it's like
Mhm.
you go to some shows and it's like if you just took the board shorts off and put them in, banana hammocks, they look the same as the 212 guys or any of the other
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, I think Ryan's proportions are a lot better. And he reminds me of a lot of the like I think that would be like what Arnold and Mike Menser and stuff would compete in these days. I don't even think they do traditional bodybuilding because you
Hmm.
go to that next level and it's like they're just these mass monsters and stuff. So but you go to the gym and it's like I feel good, and some days I'm like I could probably do this. And then we met your young gun the other day, that young kid that you're training at
Connor.
Oh,
Lowe's that's got the fucking 24-inch biceps that's 23 years old. I'm like, I don't have a shot. I should just give up now and just like
Yeah, that dude, I've told him like that dude's the future.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
that's wild.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with that big a bicep. Like I was trying not to stare, but it was hard not to stare. Like he's got freak arms.
it's good
Yeah.
though. He'll have
For,
plenty of people looking at him on stage
yeah,
from practice.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Shout out Connor. Yeah, the kid's 22. He's just, one thing that I've learned, and I'm sure you have too, Logan, is like I always really recognize when like it's a good fit with your client.
yeah,
And like Connor had told me this was like a year ago, or maybe even a little bit longer than a year ago. And one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten, we would see each other in the gym and everything. And like one day we got into just a little bit longer conversation. He's like, you know what, Chris, I've been watching you guys for a while, and you're the only coach I would ever work with. And I was like, holy shit, wow. That's huge, and I was like, hey,
yeah,
I really appreciate that, man. And like he said at the time, like I have really no interest in competing, but if I ever do, I'm gonna hire you.
there
So
you go.
obviously things have changed, and he's evolved, and now he's just so pumped to get after it
Oh
every
yeah.
day,
Yeah.
you know.
Is this going to be his first show that he's doing?
He's done a few. He's done a
Oh,
few.
okay.
This will be his first time he'll be doing a pro qualifier.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah,
wow.
so we're doing the NPC Omaha Pro Amateur Show, and then he's going to do the NPC Universe. That's the pro qualifier in New Jersey.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
do
Good for
well.
him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Logan, so you haven't competed, but it sounds like you do follow the sport.
Like peripherally, like when
Okay.
Olympia's on, I mean, especially since Candace has gotten more into it. I've always liked bodybuilding.
I
Like I
mean,
always
I'm
looked up
always on my
to,
Instagram, always looking at
yeah,
bodybuilders.
sending me stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen this person? Yeah. And then obviously Jack and I are good friends, so he's really into that world. So
Yeah.
he'll share guys with me. And when I was kind of going through some of that stuff, he was sending me different guys and posing and stuff like that. So I've definitely gotten more familiar with it, but I'm by no means an
Okay.
expert. Like I know a couple names for sure.
hmm
It's cool though. I mean, I liked it's just they're so damn long. I don't know how people like how you get yourself pumped up when you have to, especially the bikini girls. Feel so bad for them. And now Candace is going to be doing that category, but it's like they're there for like 18 hours. And like, what do you do? Like, you can't eat. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you can, but you don't want to like eat the
It
wrong stuff.
becomes a long day for the
Yeah.
competitors, but
I
usually
don't know. My first time,
backstage,
I just was on adrenaline.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even though my makeup was at 3:30 and makeup hair 3:30, came back to the room. I was like, well, here I am. I'm ready. It's 5 o'clock, and I did figure, so it was a little bit earlier, but like I wasn't tired the whole day. I was just all adrenaline. I was like, even though, so I had met some girls getting tanned on Friday and they were figure, and I remember walking back, I'm like, whoa, they are big. I was like, but I was like, you know what? I did so much work to get here. I'm just excited to go on the stage, look glammed up because I think that's super fun.
Yeah.
And show off what I did for how many ever weeks, and it was just getting out there the first time, I had no idea what I was doing. So yeah, the first time I think like I honestly remember not being really nervous. And then all of a sudden they called my name and I was like, oh shit, that's me. Like it's like I gotta go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all just like adrenaline. So I feel like I wasn't even tired. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's the same way this time. But
It typically is. And
yeah.
typically you just kind of chat with people backstage if
Oh
it's going
yeah.
to get long.
I still am friends with three girls I met that were all
Yeah.
bikini girls actually, but yeah, we're still on Instagram together and because we just hung out like in our little corner the whole time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So Candace, I know it's come up on a few of the podcasts, which I'm sure you've seen, but for the viewers, for people thinking about competing, like their first show, what are a couple takeaways from things you either were shocked by, like whether it's, maybe it's the suit cost. What are a couple things that you were like, oh wow, I wish I would have known this when I started?
Oh,
Yeah.
when
How
I
much did that
started.
suit cost, Candace? She never told me.
I don't remember. So, gosh, the suit was expensive. I definitely spent more than I probably needed to, but I almost, I did the first show not really knowing if I was going to love it or not. So I didn't know. Well, I knew I would love it. I knew I probably would do it again, but I really just wanted to have a fun suit. I wanted to have, I just wanted to pick out something that I would feel good in. I didn't want to really like half-ass it. So probably spent more than I needed to. Um, and I kind of already knew they were going to be expensive, so I kind of planned for that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think, well, I know it's probably different for males, but I was really surprised at how long it took for me to first lose weight. Like, I think
Mhm.
you think you're cutting a little, I don't know how many calories, and you're like, oh, I've been doing this for how many weeks and I've lost like 2 pounds, it's just women, it just took forever. And then I finally got the ball rolling, a little later than I anticipated. And so I think that is like hard just to know that that's going to happen. Maybe not with everybody, but maybe for a first time woman, I feel like. it's probably typical. I don't know, maybe you guys have different experiences, but um, it just seemed like I wasn't expecting it to take as long. The first, just you're like, oh, I'm cutting out, I'm doing more cardio, I should lose weight really fast and easy. And, I wasn't really on anything special. So, um, didn't really have that going for me at that time. So I think that surprised me how long it took just to lose some weight.
Well, 10
Um,
years later, it still surprises me.
yeah. So for me now, I'm kind of like, kind of anticipating that. I know it might be a little slow go, but it's like not to get down about it and stick through the process and not drop out of it or, think it's your fault. Like as long as you're following the plan, right? Like that's all I keep in the back of my head is like follow the plan. Don't, just stick to the plan. That was like the whole motto was like just stick to the plan. Um, I had no idea about gluing suits
Hmm.
or like the oils, like all that stuff in the back. Like I just learned as I just followed everybody. I was like, oh, should I do that? Like so um and then what was the one thing? Oh, some girls had like brought cups to pee in or like funnels and stuff like that. Like no idea. Had
Yeah.
no idea about that. Um so I definitely learned a lot of stuff backstage, just kind of learning as I go with that piece of it. I don't know if there's anything else that was super surprising. Do you remember, Logan, if there was anything where I was like, oh, wow, posing? I started
Posing was
posing
hard.
now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And even though I did one show, I'm now doing bikini, so it's all different. And even though I did the show and I kind of put my heels away for like 3 months, when I pulled them out again, I was like, geez, I feel like a wobbly giraffe again. Like, so posing, just start as soon as you can, I guess, because
Mhm.
it takes like you think it's easy and then you are doing it like this is way harder. It's way harder than you think it's gonna be.
I would
But
say too, like you talked about it this time around, like having a plan for productivity, because you mentioned like when you're not eating, right, and you're just doing cardio all day, like you can either not get anything done or you can actually be like super productive. So like she
yeah.
mentioned this time around, like, oh, I want to listen to some audiobooks, or like I want to, work on whatever else because you're not doing anything else but working out.
Yeah.
And especially at the end, it's like, you hear a lot of people talk about, okay, I was super productive because I just had to keep my mind off eating. So
Yes.
I would
I
say
think,
my work productivity was higher during
yeah,
prep
yeah,
because I
like
just worked
energy
more, so I wouldn't have to
down,
eat.
but productivity higher. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think those are some of the things that really took me by surprise.
I was
I think
surprised at how
those are,
dark they were with the tan. That was
Oh,
really
my
cool.
tan was really dark, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a good shade or not. So I was like, yeah, just keep spraying me. Tanner the better.
no, I really like those observations. I think the key one, I think for a lot of viewers too, a lot of first time competitors, especially on the female side, is just what you described. And yeah, sometimes there's a reason for it. Obviously female hormones are different, as you're aware, but a lot of times in the prep, those first couple weeks, there's very subtle changes. So in your mind, you're like, all right, it's go time. Let's go. And you're talking to your coach, you're talking to your friends, your significant other, and you're like, all right, I'm in prep, 2 weeks in, let's go. And then you hop on the scale and you're like, what the hell? But it's because a lot of times because it's just very small tweaks initially. And then of course, as you get deeper in prep, there's larger changes to your plan typically.
Mhm.
But to your point, Candace, yeah, it is a lot different for females. I feel like, there's a couple unicorns on the team, and then it's just like most people are going to really have to battle and dig deep to get that finished look.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, I mean, we all talk about in fitness, genetics are king at the end of the
Yeah.
day when it comes to, and especially in competitive bodybuilding. But you take what you got, the cards are dealt, and play them the best you can.
Mhm.
So I I would never say I have like the worst genetics, but I don't have like the easy fat loss genetic. That gene is gone.
Yeah.
I've never so I do work really hard, but yeah, a lot of women have periods where they stall and then suddenly things start happening and then we stall.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I
I
also
mean, I
didn't
think
know if it was because
especially
I
as you
was.
get,
Mhm.
oh, I was just gonna say as you get older too, I think those like life things impact you a lot more, right? Like
Are
if
you
you're,
calling us old, Logan?
Logan,
Yeah.
100%.
no,
Just
no, but
Yeah, he
like,
just called us
you know,
elderly.
well, it's like if you're 23 and like you're living in your parents' house and you know you're just bodybuilding to because it's something fun to do. It's like you don't have all those stressors going. You probably don't even do your blood work, right? But I guess you get older, it's like you got to figure out what's going on. Oh shit, my
Yeah.
cortisol is 3 times what it should be. Like that's
Mhm.
probably got something to do with what's going on. My T3 and T4 are all fucked up. Like probably not the case for myself included. When I was 25, Candace still says I can lose weight without trying, which I don't agree
You
with.
eat
But
ice cream and lose weight.
it's protein ice cream.
He's on
Um,
the Rich Piana special.
but no, I mean, it's yeah. I just think as you get older, all that stuff just becomes like the little stuff that you took for granted. Obviously,
yeah,
becomes more important.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think I did better when I didn't even think about it. Like
Yeah,
the less I thought about it, the better it went, So previously I weighed myself every day, and now with, this current plan, I weigh myself every Friday. And I honestly think that helps me personally because I'm a micro, like, then I like focus on it. Like, be like, oh my gosh, I gained zero point 0.6 overnight. What did I do wrong?
Mhm.
Or I gained a pound over. So that's a nice stress relief that you don't see it every day.
Hmm. I agree.
But
What's the dynamic like for you guys? Because obviously, we weren't around for your first prep, but what's the dynamic as a couple, and we know, we know firsthand, but like Candace, when you're frustrated, like are you venting to Logan or is it like a best friend or like Logan being a trainer yourself, are you kind of stepping in and saying, "Hey, your training's lacking," or, how does that work?
yeah, Logan, how am I?
How was she through her first prep?
uh, you're young and beautiful.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, obviously, like the deeper you get, the harder it becomes, and like tempers get a little shorter, and we're both already pretty tired all the time, anyways. So like you add in, an hour a day of stairs and stuff on top of that, and I can see her glaring at me as she's on 1,200 calories a day, and I'm having my second bowl of ice cream or whatever. so,
Yeah.
Second.
yeah, trying to be conscious of that stuff, and I think it's funny because when she first started prep, like I would train her a lot. And we've actually been talking about me starting to train her just like once a week again, just to kind of get back to it to have some hands-on feedback. But I just kind of like let her do her own thing for a little while, and I don't know if that was good or bad, but like I try to take off the coach hat and not correct what other people are doing because
Mhm.
also, bodybuilding is like way outside of my wheelhouse from a coaching perspective. So, I can apply the stuff and the principles and the ideas that I know that I understand for like, you know, people who are just trying to lose a little bit of weight. But it's obviously you guys are managing so many other things and you're managing hormones and you're managing cortisol and you're managing stress and you're managing, 5 days, 6 days a week of cardio and, 4 or 5 different workouts a week. And it's like, that's fine. So I kind of just like defer to whatever the coach is telling her. And then if she asks, which occasionally she does, but not that much, I'll try to offer some support. Um,
I'm
but
bad at asking for help, so
yes,
Yeah.
I'll figure
but
it out.
yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, we went to the refinery out in Utah. That was one of the bigger bodybuilding gyms. And if
Yeah,
you
if you
ever go,
guys ever do Wasatch again, you should definitely check it out.
definitely
It's
check it
cool.
out.
Yeah.
So yeah, he used to train me and it just got to be long, because some of the workouts
Yeah.
were so long that it was just a lot of time. But I think from going to Discover Strength, I had that in my head where I always needed to improve. So like I always am like, okay, I can do another couple reps or I can add another 5 pounds. Like so in my head I kind of ingrained like I just need to increase something, that's the way I can measure my progress. Or that was too easy, I gotta do it a lot higher next time or something. Um, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like in prep, I don't really get upset. I'm more of a cool, like cool, get quiet. So I just get quiet. If it's like if something's stressful, I'm just like I'm just gonna do my thing. Don't talk to me, kind of thing. I will say there's sometimes where like our dog Franklin, he is like he's our human, puppy child
Mhm.
or whatever. But
Yeah.
I have to get up and walk him. And I'm like, come, like, I would start to get frustrated at him. And I was like, okay, don't get mad at the dog. Like, because you're just like tired. And so
Yeah.
everything takes extra energy. Even like when we would go to Costco, I was like, oh, we got to walk around Costco. Like, I wouldn't even help him grab the things out of the back of the car because I was like, I have to preserve my muscle. um, so yeah,
That's
I
a good
think.
point though too. Like I think depending on where you come from your training background, like so Discover Strength that I used to work at just as like a reference was high intensity training and it was twice a week for 30 minutes. And like she was saying, it was like every time we were trying to show, we didn't have bodybuilders coming in, it was just regular people. But it's like every time we want to show another rep or another set or whatever it is. And it was like single set training to failure of everything. And I think that for her and for myself, like transitioning to more of a bodybuilding style of training was like, you can't just empty the tank every single set, like going beyond failure every single set and expect to train 5 days a week for, 45 minutes to an hour each time. So that's like, that was a good point, Candace. Like, I think transitioning away from like, oh, it has to be heavier. And then your form's starting to go to shit. And it's like, well, are we really even doing what we're trying to do at this point, right? Or should you just be focusing on your form and actually, getting to a deep level of fatigue without going that extra bit? So that was a good, I think, kind of lesson for her and then for myself as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think too prep with training, it was like, okay, I'm here, I'm still training. It may not be as intense as what I had been doing 6 months ago or something, but I was still like just trying to keep the muscle that I had because I was so close, to the show or whatnot. So I just kind of some days I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to just go down a few pounds or something. Like I was like, I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm getting it done. It's just being consistent. So versus not showing up at all, I guess. So
How was it like, Logan, watching her? I mean, she's done a few, like you said. This last competition, how was it like, watching her? Like, do you get nervous? Or like, what's your thought process watching her? And then what's it like after the show? Because obviously, like we all want to win a show, all of us, and
Yeah.
there's only one winner. So
Yeah.
like, what's the dynamic afterwards? Do you guys do anything special to celebrate?
Yeah, so like just watching was really cool. Slow process, but shows are fun too. Like I always had vendors and stuff coming out, and then it's like they're out there for like 30 seconds, so you have to be on top of it. But no, it was super cool. I mean, she looked amazing. I think, the thing, and I don't know if Candace would admit this, but I think like anybody that's going through this process, male or female, is like taking the time to actually appreciate what she's accomplished. Because like Candace is one of those people, and I think there's a lot of those people that it's like as soon as it's over, it's like, oh, I could have been better. I should have done this. I should have done that. Next time will be better. I could have.
I
My
never said
abs could have shown.
that.
Yeah, my abs could have shown more. Oh, that girl was so much bigger. Oh, I bet she was on steroid. Or like it's just you go immediately into this place of like I could have done more instead of just really focusing on like I thought she was by far the hottest woman on stage the entire time. Like her makeup looked amazing, her extensions were great.
Just
Like
sucking up now.
I'm not. No, but like, did she have the right physique for figure? Like, maybe we didn't put her in the right category for that, but she looked fucking amazing. Like, the best I've ever seen her look. And then, there's like the smiles and the high after, and then it's like immediately down to like, what am I going to do next? And how do I do this next thing? So that to me, like, as a partner, was a little frustrating. So it's
Mhm.
like, can we enjoy this for a little bit? But then what did you have post show, Candace? What was your treat?
So I haven't had, I love peanut M&Ms, and I hadn't had them, I don't even know how long, like probably over a year, or for sure, for very long. So we brought along the big tub from Costco, and I literally had it in this front seat as we were driving out, and I had the bin of M&Ms and then some treats from like what they have backstage, but
The
I was like, I just
cupcakes
want
and
my
cookies and
my
stuff.
bucket of M&Ms in the car.
I think you ate the entire thing in like the next 48 hours.
Probably. It was a lot of peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
And then I was
And
like,
we
why did
had
I do that?
we had sushi that night, which was really good too.
Yeah. Stephanie obviously knows from my check-ins that I eat a lot of sushi for the repeat.
Yeah.
So,
I want to take a couple steps back. Logan, you were kind of mentioning something that reminded me of myself a little bit. But what is it like, with, you obviously have a current physique that you want to maintain, and that may include ice cream. So, what's it like? Are you maybe trying to not eat around her? Or are you just anything goes, different goals? How does that
I
work?
think we've I think we've gotten past the I'm gonna eat my meals alone in the corner so that you don't get jealous point. And she's also not like in super prep mode right now. Like maybe when her calories are a little further down, maybe I'll hide my ice cream.
doesn't
But no,
bother me.
yeah, we we eat probably at least a meal together most days, or like around the same time. But she eats 5 times a day, and I only eat like 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
So we'll maybe have like dinner at the same time, and she's got her chicken and rice, and I'm eating whatever I made up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's not too much hiding. Last time, when she was super low on calories, like I would kind of feel bad if I would I like to splurge on the weekends and something, go get a Cane's or something like that, and come back with like a big box of chicken fingers and fries, and she's just eating her chicken with 50 grams of rice because she's down to 50 grams of carbs a day or
I didn't even
something,
have rice.
or
No
whatever
rice.
it was at the end, just chicken and
Yeah.
veggies, turkey and veggies, something like that.
Honestly, like, but I don't really crave that stuff. So
Yeah,
it never really has bothered me before. Like, we would even go, like, when we lived in Utah, we went to Zion Park and I just brought along all my meals, and there was a refrigerator and you do it. It doesn't, yeah, it kind of think Logan knows that I'm gonna do it to stick to the plan. So there's
yeah,
no even question of like asking if I want to not stick to the plan. So
yeah. Are you guys both like plan people? Because I think that's where Candace and I are really diametrically opposed. Like, I like, even if I eat the same thing, which a lot of the times I do, like I have basically the same breakfast every day. And then I kind of switch up my lunch and dinner. But she, like, even before she started bodybuilding, she would eat the same thing every day. Like, she's just likes consistency and
I have to
having,
think about it.
routine, and not having to think about it. And I'm like, no, I want to keep the world as my oyster. I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. I want to have all my options open. Are you guys both like that? Or are you both super plan people, or how does that look?
It's tough because we're like, we're in that kind of gray area of like, are we going to compete again, or
Yeah.
are we going to ride off into the sunset? Um, but the truth is that whether, if we were done and that chapter was closed and it's never opening up again, we are still going to eat the same thing at the same time every single day. Even if it's on a trip, it's just like we don't travel without a kitchenette. Like
Mhm.
we don't travel without the mini rice cooker.
Yeah.
So I think that pretty much sums it up. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I think so some people just have more of an emotional attachment to food and stuff where they don't want to be
Yeah.
stuck in a box. And I am one of those people. But I thrive on a routine and a plan. So for the most part, through the week, I know what I'm eating through the day. And what I want will vary at certain times, whether I'm in prep or whether I'm not in prep. Um, so I get, fixated on certain meals that I'm like, this is what I want. And I'll go months on the same 4, 5 meals a day, months at a time. And then I'll suddenly just kind of be like, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. So I'll switch up whatever my meal five or something is. Um, Kind of depends how much food I'm getting at the time, right? So, or I just switch up like we use the flavor gang sauces like with
Oh
our
Hmm.
yeah.
chicken and
Those are
stuff.
good. Yeah.
I'll switch up like what sauce I'm using with my chicken or what seasoning. Like that's kind of where I find my variation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
You guys are like Candace.
yeah,
It's like my
yeah,
mustard. I've changed from plain mustard to spicy brown mustard.
yeah. And to me, that I'm happy.
Yeah.
But we also have like that great balance of since I've been with Chris, because I've worked with other coaches or another coach before I met Chris, and I didn't really have free meals or cheat meals when I
Hmm.
was in prep. um, which was fine. And I know a lot of coaches that do that. But when Chris became my coach, now we have this refeed free meal every Saturday. And now it's like this really nice balance of life and
Hmm.
bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought about that the other day because I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. I'm kind of craving that, but what's 3 more days? I'll
Yeah,
just wait to Saturday to have it or something. And
Yeah.
yeah,
it's hard for me right now because it's like I'm not in prep. So I'm like, by the time you get to the refeed meal, I'm not really that hungry either. So, but so I feel like I'll take advantage of it more when I'm in prep or like at least have something, a little bit more savory. So,
yeah.
Have you guys been to Raku sushi?
Where's
um,
that? Oh, Candace
Edina.
maybe has. She's been everywhere.
I might have been, where is that located? St.
Edina.
Paul? Oh, Edina. Oh, yeah, yeah. We went there with Heather and David.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
Okay.
not me, not me and Stephanie.
I'm
Yeah,
just trying
before
to
we
think. That was a
moved.
long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Hmm.
That's
like
like
before.
his
Yeah. Okay.
favorite spot.
That's my
Okay.
favorite number one sushi place. I think we went like 3 weeks in a row
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
every Saturday.
I
What's
could have sushi every Saturday if we,
Yeah,
yeah. What's
so
the
she's not
place
on
that's
board
out
with the
here?
sushi train.
You don't like
Not,
sushi?
oh, I like it, but not every weekend.
Not every
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
See, I'm more of a all you can eat sushi kind of guy. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I
that's
like
what
that place
Raku
in
is.
Maple Grove. Oh, is that what
it
that place
is.
is? In
Yeah, it
Edina?
is.
Oh, I don't remember
Yep.
it being all you can eat.
Yeah.
Maybe we just ordered off the menu.
I like getting,
That was like 3 or 4 years ago, though. So,
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
unless it changed.
Yeah, we'll have to go check it out. What is it
Hmm.
called?
Raku, it's Raku.
yeah, I think we went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
outstanding.
Okay.
Where was the place in Woodbury that we went? Kita.
Akita,
Akita. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The place out
Great.
here is not bad in Maple Grove over by the Cub or wherever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget what it's called. Have you guys been to that one? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's over by like the post office.
Is that called Akita too?
I don't
It
think so.
might be Akita as well.
There's Kyotos all over.
Yeah.
Um,
There's only like five names they all choose from.
I know.
Not all
I've
you
not
can
heard
eat.
Raccoon
Philly
before.
sushi was really good downtown.
Yeah.
If you want
This
to
is a
spend
good
some
treat.
money.
Yes. Yeah. I'd
I
rather
have seen
pay
that on Instagram.
30
Yeah.
bucks and
Yeah.
stuff my
Um,
face. Yeah.
splurge every once in a while.
What was the place we went to not that long ago? The all you can eat one that you didn't have anything because you weren't feeling like
I wasn't
splurging.
hungry.
Yeah.
Brooklyn
So she
Center.
made me eat all you can eat
We
sushi
went
by
there and I was
myself.
like, I just don't really want anything.
And the
Um,
ladies were like looking at us sideways, like I was gonna sneak her rolls. I was like, no, I'm
yeah.
eating all of this. So
Yeah. I don't remember the name of that. It was kind of
Was that
random.
in Brooklyn Center?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't remember
They're
what
always
that
in like some kind of wonky strip
strip
mall
mall.
or something.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, sushi's our go-to. So
yeah, for sure.
whenever you're craving sushi,
That's a good
you know
choice.
who to call.
Yeah, yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
we do.
Or a
Yeah,
steakhouse.
if we do a date night,
Oh,
we'll
we
put
love
them out of business.
steakhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, steakhouses.
If you've
Have you
not
guys
been to
ever been
Baltimore,
to?
put it on your list.
I think we
Oh
went there once
yeah.
with Jen. Yeah, that was
Yeah, we
good.
went there, but that was like five,
That was
six
a
years
long
ago, I
time
feel
ago.
like. Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Lindy's?
Mm.
No,
It's
I don't think so.
Pretty old school.
where is it? Arden
Arden
Hills.
Hills.
I went there with a couple buddies the other night. It's like a big loin. So we went there with five guys, and they gave us like 2 3 pound loins, and they just chop it up right at the table.
Wow.
It's like $42 or something for their special steak or whatever, but it's you get the steak, and then it's all you can eat hash browns and garlic bread, and then for like $10 more, you get a big plate of mushroom, and it's like, I mean, it's not Baltimore, it's not like Manny's, but it's
Mhm.
really good for like $40 a person. And it's like, shit.
That's good. That's a good price.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, it was
interesting.
really good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
outside of food, outside of the gym, what do you guys like to do for fun?
Well, Logan likes it way more than I do, but we'll do pickleball every once in a while.
Okay.
She just doesn't like it because she's not as good. She doesn't get good till like the last game, and then she's like, "Oh, this is fun."
I just don't take it as like serious or like I'm running after it and I was like, I don't need to twist an ankle today.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
um, anything to do with our dog.
yeah. We like to go to dog parks. Honestly, our favorite thing to probably do is go to check out new gyms. So we like
Yeah.
going around to different bodybuilding gyms and stuff.
We do too.
Pretty
Mhm.
boring. Yeah. Are there any good ones in Minnesota that you guys have been to that wouldn't be like a Lowe's or Jack and Lean or anything like that, or Iron Alliance? What other ones?
Yeah,
No.
Jacked and Lean, and then Brooklyn Center at the top.
Have you been down to
Yeah.
Rochester?
Yeah.
I'm from Rochester.
Oh yeah, that's right. Have you been to
Yeah,
that gym?
yeah.
Yeah.
Iron
Okay.
Physique. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's
We
that one?
haven't been down there since they combined with the 507 gym.
hmm
Um, but we
I'm
are.
from Mankato, so
Oh,
I know
okay.
the big nine schools and
Sure.
Hmm.
all the small town stuff.
Yeah, we are gonna make it down there though to train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure when, but yeah, it's on our list.
To go back. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we like to, like
We,
when we travel, we're always finding gyms too.
have
hmm
you guys ever been to Madhouse? Do you know what that is?
Oh
Yes.
yes, we
Have you
have.
been there?
Absolutely.
Oh, I want to go there so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's overstimulating, but
Yeah, oh, I
it's
bet.
great.
It's been like 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably my top two gym like I've ever been to.
What's
Okay.
your
What's
top
the other
one
one? Yeah.
Uh
in Vegas?
I'm trying to think.
No, it won't be Vegas.
I
No.
think I think my number one is Miami Iron.
Okay.
I think that's my number one.
Really?
Yeah. It's really
It's
it's
really small.
it is
Oh,
It's
Really?
small.
crowded. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really dark. Um, I could be biased because they have Phil Heath on the wall, maybe.
Oh yeah. There you go. Okay.
Maybe, but it's cool. It's got a good vibe. It's usually all competitors in there, or, very serious people. But like she said, yeah, one deterrent, it is a smaller gym.
Hmm.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Pure, what is it called in Canada? Pure,
No.
No,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
It's like Pure Fitness or something like that.
Yeah, I know
where
exactly
is
what you're
it?
That
In
one's
talking
Toronto?
supposed to be cool. It's it might be is yeah, I think it's in Ontario. I don't know if it's in Toronto though,
Oh, okay.
but it's yeah, that one looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lots of modern stuff.
I
We've
mean, we
been getting
kind of
these.
did go on our honeymoon for a reason to Tulum, so we could go
Oh
to the
yeah,
jungle.
we went to the jungle
Yeah.
gym. Yeah.
That was one of the
Um,
things. I wanted to do. So
Yeah, that was cool. Have you guys been to that?
No,
What's it called?
No,
Tulum.
the
the
It's
jungle
Tulum
gym.
Jungle
Jungle
Gym.
Gym.
So they have one that's like on the beach. So it started as like this little beach front gym that was just like literally a fence around the sand. And they had the like just a set of weights that were like wood weights. And then like some old wood benches. So it looks like almost like a Flintstone gym. Like, they'd have a rope for a pull down that's like attached to this big pulley and you sit in it and you can do pull downs that way kind of thing. And then it's just like became this big Instagram thing and it's just grown and grown and grown. So now they have like two locations. So there's still the one like on the beach, but it's like massive now. And then there's another one that's like in the city of Tulum. That's just kind of like it's not on the beach, but it's got some sand and it's like a beach
Same
vibe.
vibe.
I think I've
Yeah.
been.
You have, well, I
Yeah,
definitely haven't.
I
You have been
Yeah.
there?
I may or may not. It might be different or similar.
He
Um,
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is on the beach, and it was I don't, but they did have some plates. They did have some plates there, so maybe not.
Well, the one
I don't
downtown Tulum was all like Flintstone style
Hmm.
yeah.
downstairs. Then upstairs they had the panada
Yeah, they had a
Okay.
couple
machines.
panada pieces. But they didn't I
Mhm.
don't think they had any like like even their weight plates were like these big wooden, 20 kilo like
Hmm.
Yeah.
sliding
Hmm.
plates.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's very good for the gram. You'll see tons of influencers posting stuff from
Yeah.
there.
Nice
What's your
education.
favorite gym that you guys have been to? If you had to choose one.
Hmm.
Hmm,
I think you've been to more than I have, maybe.
yeah, I'm trying to think.
We missed a couple out in Utah, but honestly, the refinery is a pretty sweet gym. We went out to Butler Pro Gym that's out there.
I've been to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's
What was the one that
smaller.
was like the yeah, that was a cool vibe, but I wasn't
Yeah.
crazy about the equipment selection,
Hmm.
especially their leg equipment was like, I don't know, I just wasn't crazy about it. Um, what was the one that was in the two separate like garages? Hell's Gate.
Oh yeah,
That
Hell's
was
Gate.
pretty
It
cool.
was so
Did you go to that
quiet
one?
too.
Yeah. It's
I was like
like
the only one in the whole gym.
yeah, so they have a whole upper body gym and then they have a whole lower body garage. And I think it's actually
Oh,
was like this rich dude's just personal collection. And then he wanted to just make some money. So he just opened it up as like a 24-hour gym.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't say that that was like vibes wise, it wasn't my favorite, but it was just a really cool setup and like tons of classic pieces. You don't see like really old vintage Nautilus stuff. They had a double pull down, which I've never seen in person, like the old Nautilus pullover into the pull down, which is actually a pretty shit piece of equipment, but it's cool.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of old vintage stuff there. But I like stuff like that. That's like got a bunch of old pieces that have history, and there's a bunch of new brands that I really like. But there's just something about like the stuff that like maybe Phil Heath worked out on this back in the day or whatever.
Hmm.
So that one was pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, yeah. If you're ever back out in
I love
Utah, you
that.
should check that out for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, before we moved there, we had no idea that bodybuilding was like such a big
Yeah,
thing.
there's like 5 or 6 big bodybuilding gyms out
Crazy.
there now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
No
it's
idea.
definitely growing.
Well, as we wrap up, I want to ask you guys a few more questions. The biggest question is, being a fitness couple, what are maybe a couple pieces of advice you can give? Because obviously, we've been through tons of preps together, but for someone new, what are some key takeaways? Any advice before you get into it?
Hmm. I think for me, it was just like I think I said this the other day to Stephanie too, was like I don't like you don't want to or I don't feel like I should complain about prep or something because I'm choosing to do it, right? Nobody's forcing me to do to do this. But then I have to remind myself too that because, whether it's Logan or whether it's my family or our dog, and you get short, with your patience or your temper. I don't really have much of a temper, but like just to take a step back and like breathe, everything's gonna be okay. Um, and just, like sometimes when you're in prep, you're like, it's all about me. Like you just think it's you, you, you. And just remember that you're also affecting other people. So I think that's like a really big takeaway. Now that I say that, I'm like, I don't know if I really did it that well, but you know,
No
but you
comment.
live, you learn, and you don't even know until you're out of it and you look back at
Yeah.
it.
That's super key. Logan, I want to hear from you the final question. Someone that wants to get into personal training, like obviously you have a very, there's very few people that go down your road where you're like really involved with that session. But for someone that's like, let's say 18 or 19 and they want to just, this is what they want to do. They want to personal train. How do you get started? Like, how do you get started? What's your best advice to them?
Man, it's hard to say because I didn't really go down the traditional route either. But I would say, one of the things that pisses me off the most on Instagram now is like people who are selling programs that have never trained anybody in person. Like, that they've never worked with anybody a
Mhm.
single day in their life. So like even if it's just for a year, sign up, like get some kind of certification, become a trainer in a gym, just so you can appreciate how shitty it is to like go through that, but also like work with a variety of people and like see the types of people that are actually seeking out programs, because those are probably going to be the same people that are going to come to you in the future for whatever you're doing if you decide to go into the online space. But like, the cookie cutter stuff for somebody who's 55 and never worked out literally a day in their life, and to just tell them like, here's the same program I gave to somebody who's, wants to be a physique competitor, is like, that's not going to work for people. And it's just going to discourage them from, like actually pursuing becoming better. Right. So, cutting your teeth for a little bit. I know so many good people in the gym industry. Like that was actually how I met Jack, was like I was doing my master's thesis and I just reached out to him and asked him if I could shadow him for a day just to like see his style and how he trained people. And he was more than willing to do that. And I had like 10 or 12 other people in the fitness industry that I just shot an email and I was like, hey, can I like come and watch you for a little bit? Every single one of them was like, hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Like people want to be an expert. So even if you're not going to go down the traditional route and go to a gym, at least see how somebody actually does it before you decide to start telling people how to do it, and pick up some cues, pick up some things from them, and then start to apply that to your own coaching.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. I love it.
Mhm.
Well, this has been great, you guys.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, we
We
appreciate
have
you
to get
guys.
sushi sometime.
Yes.
Sushi for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank
For
you.
sure. We will
Yeah.
see you
Awesome.
guys next time.
All
Yep.
right. Sounds good.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.